Christ, I've missed visual novels. If there's one thing this game reminded me is that visual novels rule when they're given the time to be done right. Let's get this out the way right now. If you're not a fan of visual novels, this game isn't for you. Full stop. Cool? Cool. Now, if you're still here, it means you enjoy visual novels, or at the very least are interested in them enough to see if this is a good one to get started with. Which to that I must give a resounding yes. In Tavern Talk, you play as the Innkeeper, the witty, nosy, and mysterious owner of the Wayfarer Inn who makes magical drinks, non-alcoholic, might I add, so it's safe for all ages, that can help adventurers on their quest. In typical fantasy setting fashion, these potions improve your charisma, intelligence, and the usual skill tree branches. There's a minigame where you and your cute familiar Andu mix and match magical concoctions to boost these stats, as well as break out the dialogue in the game. It's not a challenging segment at all. I consider it more of an action meant to immerse yourself further in the protagonist's role rather than actually challenge you. You'll notice that's a trend in this game. Something I really like about these drinks is that they also act as decisions throughout multiple junctures of the game, directly influencing how the patron you're serving goes about their quest. It's a nice incentive to go back and just rehear another version of how a quest could have gone had I served the patron a drink more focused on attack versus negotiation, if someone wanted to use stealth rather than actually talk their way out of a scenario, if defense or straight up attack was the way to go. There's just a lot of different ways in which I could have served drinks to these patrons, usually given in a binary option, that directly influenced how the story would be told to me later. The retelling of the quest specifically is one of my favorite bits of the game, as well as how the game goes about tracking them for you. See, it's part of the Innkeeper's job to post quests at the board you see hiding in the background over there. So as the story progresses, he, she, they, because the Innkeeper really can have any gender in this game, will be jotting down rumors picked up through conversations with the patrons, which you will then use to create aforementioned quests. Again, I'd say this features more for the immersion of the role here rather than any challenging minigame. You're not expected to remember the rumors yourself. In fact, all that is expected of you is some basic color matching of post-it notes to create a flyer for the patrons. If it hasn't become painfully clear yet, this game is much more invested in you enjoying this meticulously crafted world, one, by the way, that you can actually see with the map that even pinpoints where quests are taking place, rather than making you fight anyone or solving any complex puzzles. The toughest part of this game will be figuring out which infusion may help with your drinks later, or deciding which character is your favorite of this absolutely stellar cast. If you can't tell, now I'm about to actually start gushing about what's the most important part of any visual novel and the best part of this game here, the characters and story. In a nutshell, the foreign family trope still and always will reign supreme. There are so many characters to like in this game, and what's even better is that they are all treated like fully fleshed out personalities. Not only are their designs so distinct and fitting for the character you're talking to, but the way they talk to our character and even interact with each other make this world feel so much more alive than it might feel at first. And because the playtime of this isn't anything to scoff at, with an expected playtime being between 17 to 20 hours, you watch all these characters undergo real growth, whether it be addressing their anxiety of becoming an adventurer in the first place, living up to their family's legacy of being adventurers, dealing with abandonment issues of outliving every person you've ever cared about, or just reeling yourself in from blowing up everything you want to blow up. I'd genuinely be surprised if none of the characters that you come across in this tavern don't connect with you on some level, give you a little giggle, or just give you one line of dialogue that kind of makes you sit back in your chair and go, damn. A concern I could foresee for some people is that a good amount of these characters don't make significant appearances until Act 2. But with that being said, Act 2 doesn't take a long time to get to and picks up the pace of the story very quickly once you get there. As far as the story around these characters go, while the retelling of the quest alone were enough to keep me engaged, the overarching plot around why so many of the world-ending events that you will literally see outside your window over there take place is really solid. There are definitely bits here and there that are predictable if you're someone that just spends a lot of time consuming anything with some good storytelling, but the reveal of the overarching plot is by no means the draw here. I was much more impressed with how seamlessly everything seemed to connect as the layers of the plot were slowly revealed throughout the game, again while offering up these fleshed out characters along the way. For me personally, the heart and soul of this game really is the characters. The fact that the story is also good is just a really nice bonus that gets revealed to you by the time you get to the final hours. You realize it's good before the final hours, but it really starts getting into its bag in those Act 3, Act 4 areas. So in a nutshell, if you're a fucking book nerd like me, you're gonna be satisfied. And of course, I can't say all that without mentioning some of my favorite characters. Again, almost all of them were a joy to watch on screen for one reason or another, but my face actively lights up anytime I'd see Jade, a bounty hunter with the attitude of one, Clay, the embodiment of a gentle giant who, by the way, can talk to animals, and Scully, an archivist brought back to life. as well as a damn good union organizer. And of course, not only because my chat gushed over him, but because I am also now a big fan of his, I must give a shout out to the emo boy Air Echo, Zypher, John, Malachite, Dave, who has one of my favorite character arcs in the game, as well as one of my favorite running jokes. Overall, the biggest compliment I can give to this game is the one I started with. It reminded me of how much I like visual novels. If a game can resurface my genuine joy for a genre, I probably had a pretty damn good time. So if visual novels are your jam, or you want to see if they're your jam, or if you're looking for any excuse to partake in some more fun D&D-esque action as an observer rather than a story crafter, I'd recommend Tavern Talk. Thanks for watching. See ya.